A subsidy is a form of financial aid or support extended by a government or public body to an economic sector, businesses or industries, or institution, an individual or a household. Its primary aim is to promote an economic or social policy, such as supporting certain industries, making essential goods and services more affordable, encouraging specific behaviors, like adopting renewable energy, or stabilizing the economy. Types of subsidies. Subsidies can take various forms, broadly categorized as 1. Direct subsidies. These involve direct financial transfers from the government to the recipient, cash grants, direct payments to individuals or businesses, interest-free or low-interest loans, providing loans at rates below market value, direct income support, payments to individuals to supplement their income. 2. Indirect subsidies. These reduce costs for recipients without a direct cash transfer. Tax breaks, exemptions, reductions or waivers of taxes for certain activities or entities. Rent rebates, reducing the cost of rent for certain individuals or businesses. Price control/support, government intervention to keep prices of certain goods lower than market rates, e.g., through procurement from producers at a higher price and selling to consumers at a lower price. Provision of goods and services below cost. When the government provides goods or services, like water, electricity, or public transport, at a price below their actual cost of production. Guarantees insurance. Government guarantees for loans or insurance at subsidized rates. Beyond this direct/indirect classification, subsidies can also be classified based on their recipient or purpose. Production subsidies, aimed at reducing the cost of production for businesses, encouraging higher output. Examples include subsidies for fertilizers, seeds, or power for agriculture. Consumer/consumption subsidies, aimed at reducing the price of goods and services for consumers, making them more affordable. Examples include food subsidies, housing subsidies, or education subsidies. Export subsidies, financial support to domestic producers to make their goods more competitive in international markets. Import subsidies, rarer, but involve supporting the import of certain goods to reduce their price for consumers. Sector-specific subsidies, targeting particular industries like agriculture, renewable energy, manufacturing, or transportation. Historical context of subsidies. The concept of government support for economic activities is not new. Mercantilist era, 16th-18th centuries. During this period, European nations heavily employed subsidies and protective tariffs to foster domestic manufacturing and ensure a favorable balance of trade, more exports than imports, to accumulate gold and wealth. This was seen as crucial for national power. Industrial Revolution. Governments continued to support nascent industries, infrastructure development, like canals and railways, and shipping through various forms of financial aid and preferential treatment. Post-World Wars. In the 20th century, particularly after the two world wars and the Great Depression, the role of the state in the economy expanded significantly. Subsidies became a common tool for reconstruction and economic recovery, supporting industries devastated by war. Social welfare, providing essential goods and services to the population, especially in socialist or welfare states. Agricultural support. Many developed countries introduced extensive agricultural subsidy programs to ensure food security, stabilize farmer incomes, and prevent rural depopulation, e.g., the U.S. New Deal's Agricultural Adjustment Act of 1933 or the Common Agricultural Policy in the European Union. Industrial policy, promoting specific industries deemed vital for national development or strategic importance. Developing nations, post-independence. For countries like India, after gaining independence, subsidies became crucial instruments for poverty alleviation, ensuring access to food, fuel, and other necessities for the poor. Agricultural self-sufficiency, supporting farmers to achieve food security. Industrialization, protecting and nurturing nascent domestic industries. Infrastructure development, subsidizing sectors like transport and power. Over time, the debate around subsidies has intensified, particularly with globalization and the rise of free market ideologies. International trade agreements often seek to discipline or restrict certain types of subsidies, like export subsidies, that are deemed to distort trade. Is subsidy good for the economy? The impact of subsidies on the economy is a complex and often debated topic. There are both potential benefits and drawbacks. Potential benefits: supports vulnerable populations. Subsidies on essential goods, food, fuel, healthcare, can make them affordable for low-income households, improving living standards and reducing inequality. Promote specific industries. They can help nascent industries grow and become competitive, or protect strategically important sectors, e.g., defense, renewable energy, that might not be viable purely on market forces. Achieve social goals. Subsidies can incentivize desirable social behaviors, like cleaner energy adoption or increased education levels, leading to positive externalities. Stabilizes prices. In times of market volatility, subsidies can help stabilize prices of essential commodities, protecting consumers and producers. Job creation. By stimulating production in certain sectors, subsidies can lead to job creation. Correcting market failures. In cases of positive externalities, where the social benefit of a good/service is greater than its private benefit, subsidies can encourage optimal production and consumption levels. Potential drawbacks. Fiscal burden. Subsidies require significant government expenditure, which can strain public finances, lead to higher taxes, or increase budget deficits and public debt. Market distortions. Subsidies interfere with free market mechanisms, leading to inefficient allocation of resources. They can encourage overproduction of subsidized goods and underproduction of non-subsidized ones. Dependency and inefficiency. Industries or individuals can become overly reliant on subsidies, reducing incentives for innovation, efficiency, and cost reduction. Corruption and leakages. The implementation of subsidy programs can be prone to corruption, leakages, and diversion of funds, especially if not well targeted. Inflationary pressure. If subsidies lead to excessive demand without a corresponding increase in supply, they can contribute to inflation. Crowding out private investment. Government spending on subsidies might crowd out private investment in other, potentially more productive areas. Trade distortions. Export subsidies can be seen as unfair trade practices by other countries, leading to trade disputes and protectionist measures. Environmental concerns. Subsidies for fossil fuels or certain agricultural practices can have negative environmental consequences. Ultimately, whether a subsidy is good for the economy depends on its specific design, its objectives, its targeting, its duration, and the prevailing economic conditions. Well-targeted, temporary subsidies aimed at addressing specific market failures or supporting vulnerable populations can be beneficial. However, poorly designed or open-ended subsidies can create significant economic inefficiencies and fiscal burdens. Examples of subsidies within Indian context where applicable. 1. Food subsidies. India. The Public Distribution System, PDS, provides highly subsidized food grains, wheat, rice, to eligible households, primarily those below the poverty line, under the National Food Security Act. Globally, many countries have programs to ensure affordable food for their citizens. 2. Fertilizer subsidies. India. The government provides significant subsidies on chemical fertilizers, urea, DAP, MOP, to farmers to keep input costs low and boost agricultural production. 3. LPG cooking gas subsidies. India. Historically, the government provided subsidies on LPG cylinders to households, particularly lower-income ones. While direct transfers, DBTL direct benefit transfer of LPG have been introduced to streamline this, the policy has seen fluctuations. 4. Electricity power subsidies. India. Many states offer subsidized electricity to farmers for irrigation and to certain household categories, often leading to financial stress for state electricity boards. 5. Agricultural subsidies. Beyond fertilizers, minimum support price, MSP. In India, the government announces MSPs for various crops, assuring farmers a minimum price for their produce, often procuring large quantities if market prices fall below MSP. Crop insurance. Subsidized crop insurance schemes help farmers mitigate risks from natural calamities. Credit subsidies. Subsidized interest rates on agricultural loans. 6. Housing subsidies. India. Schemes like Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana (PMAY) provide financial assistance for affordable housing to urban and rural poor. Globally, rental assistance programs, low-interest housing loans, or direct grants for home construction. 7. Education subsidies. India. Fee waivers, scholarships, midday meal schemes in schools, and subsidized higher education institutions. Globally, public funding for schools and universities, student loan interest subsidies. 8. Renewable energy subsidies. Globally, tax credits, grants, and feed-in tariffs for solar, wind, and other renewable energy projects to encourage their adoption and combat climate change. 9. Transport subsidies. Globally, subsidies for public transportation, buses, trains, to make them affordable and encourage their use over private vehicles. Fuel subsidies in some countries.